What an amazing idea. Let's talk about ideas, the beginning of everything and the start of your business. So what really is a good idea? So the first point that everybody talks about, the first thing they'll talk about is a pain point. What exactly is a pain point? So a pain point is a moment in time where someone experiences a pain, an annoyance. Wouldn't it be great if I had this? This service would be great right now. They're the pain points. That moment is really an opportunity for someone to come in with that solution. So a product that answers directly that pain point will at least have the first ingredient in producing a good idea, a business based on that good idea. A good example is Dyson cleaners. It was identified that people's floors were not clean and people wanted clean floors. So as a product, they came to deliver a product, definitely a high specification product, but a product that directly answered that thing. We can make your floors cleaner. We've all heard of brokers before. Brokers as a service is obvious as well, and the pain point is very clear. I need a solution. I need a service, and I don't know what the best options are for me. So I'm going to use another person, a business that runs a brokerage firm, to provide for me the information that I can then make an appropriate decision. Though getting a good idea doesn't always have to focus around a pain point. You can also provide an amazing solution. And many times, some of the biggest products and services out there are not necessarily about producing an answer to a pain point. What's key though to all ideas is the value that it brings. And I think any good idea that might either answer a pain point or a solution, if it doesn't bring enough value, then we call it a gimmick and we call it a gizmo and we give it all kinds of names. Because while it might be valuable and useful to us, it's only useful for about 5 seconds because the value's not there. So that's the second thing. Your idea, as long as it's got a strong pain point or you're actually able to deliver an amazing solution, make sure that it's really bringing value to the customer, value to a market, and let that value be constant, not just once in a blue moon, because it's unlikely that someone will really be interested in getting it. So you really should consider the scope of your product. How is it going to develop? If it's a product or software, you can consider how that product will change over time. Because you're not going to be selling the same product just forever. People are going to want to see what else you have to offer, what your product is going to look like, and consider, as you're thinking about the idea, how to take that idea forward and to develop things in the long term. That might not be your concern right now. I know that seems far off in the distance. You're not really even thinking about what your business is going to be. And I want to touch on the things that really, the elements that make a really good idea. And one of those is scope. So while you're thinking and developing those ideas and choosing which idea works and which doesn't, you should think about how it's going to evolve, what the idea looks like now and what it's going to look like in 3, 5, 10 years time. But obviously not too too much time should be spent on the long term, but it's something to consider as we develop these ideas. We want to have a market. It's very hard to teach people they need this product. It's much easier to see a market evolving, even beginning. It's much harder to be the first one in that market. The most important thing is see a market that's emerging, maybe be the third or the fifth person within that market, developing your product, developing your idea. Then at least you know that there's a market, especially if there's buzz around that market, real interest, people are talking about the market. Starting out and trying to be the educator and try and build the market yourself is an incredibly difficult undertaking. So all these great products obviously start with an amazing idea, and the idea has been developed to a really high degree, obviously. Where did it start from? We got an espresso here. So obviously started with the idea that people are looking for good quality coffee in their home, easily brewed, ready to go in the morning. So that's how an espresso came around to developing their idea. And we just got ideas just all along here in the market. So I'm in a really cool store here. I love this place. Some of these places are classic, awesome ideas, but just at a really luxurious price point. Some of these things are just gadgets. A really interesting way of developing ideas is, first of all, looking at the things you might be good at. You might be a baker, you might be great at finance, you might have had a lot of experience in investments, something might have been your hobby for the last 5-10 years, and you're starting to realize that actually there's room in the market for you to develop something. You've got a new idea that fits into the market that you've been a hobbyist in for a while, or a skill that you picked up in high school or in college or whatever it might be, you're actually really passionate about, and that passion will come through in your idea. That passion can really drive you to a point where other businesses might not have got to, and deliver something that's really not necessarily unique, but might be on the side of the solutions, maybe not the pain point. And that's something interesting. Another thing that I've tried and I think is great to experience is take out a month or a couple of weeks, make a place on your cell phone, or if you want to go old school, a piece of paper, and any problem you might have during your day, jot it down. You do that for a couple of weeks. I've come up with tens of ideas. So the next video is evaluating all these ideas. There's a lot more that goes into the raw idea before we even get to planning and actually reaching a point where we want to start a business. So I want to leave it here. What ideas do you have? Put them in the comment section. Let's start a discussion about these ideas, and I look forward to discussing how to evaluate and looking objectively at your idea so we can move forward and start seeing a framework for your idea. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.